Good morning. I'd like to start off by talking about multiple sclerosis. It affects a lot of people in this world. Multiple sclerosis damages the myelin sheath on the axon. And before we get into that, I'd like to explain better how it affects it and why it would affect the axon in terms of an action potential. So, I guess if you guys come with me, we'll get this thing started. Hey there. For starters, you're probably wondering, what am I doing inside the bathroom? The truth is, I have no clue. No, I'm kidding. Actually, I thought the toilet would be a great example of how an action potential works. Let me show you guys. Now, the thing about action potential is that once threshold is reached, it's kind of like a can of Pringles, because once I pop, the fun don't stop. It's kind of like a can of Pringles, because once you pop, you're probably going to eat the whole thing. Here it goes. Ready? And threshold not reached. We need more sodium. Oh, action potential. There's no stopping that. Hallelujah! Threshold reached. That signal's going to go straight on to the terminal. Right now we're in the relative refractory period. I want to show you what I call the relative refractory period and the absolute power refractory period. Now let's start off by setting the action potential up in this motherfucker. Wait a minute. Now, just to give you guys a better idea of an action potential, right when I flush this and it reaches threshold, a ton of sodium is gonna, flood into the cell. Then it reaches the peak. Like I can't go any higher. And then what happens after that is the potassium is gonna go outside of the cell. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna polarize again, because you see before it depolarized going up. It's gonna polarize again. And that means that some of the potassium is going to go out of the cell. And let me show you. Sodium in, ton of sodium, whoop, done going down. Okay, some of the potassium is going out. Right into the point where we get hyperpolarized. During this hyperpolarization, another action potential can't be fired. So at this moment, let's get away from this toilet. I don't even know where I'm standing here. Immediately after threshold is reached, I'm going to try to flush it again, and I'm going to show you what the absolute refractory period is. Check it out. Threshold. Oh no, no more action potential. The sodium and potassium pumps are going to go to work. It's going to send 3 sodium out, and it's going to bring back in 2 potassium. What this does is it brings it back to the negative 70 millivolts that it was at, where it's comfortable at, and where it's resting membrane potential, as they say. Now, during this time, what I like to call the old reload. Now you see? Oh, set off another action potential. Stupid. Now, what's happening inside of this old bad boy is it's getting filled up with some more water. AKA, I think we might be able to set off an action potential with enough Now let's try pushing. No action potential. I would have set it off before, not this time. Now let's try super duper sodium. Extreme amount of sodium. What do you know? Another threshold just got reached. We're just about done here in the clubhouse toilet room. So I guess I'll meet you back at... Oh, there you are. Well, welcome to the headquarters. Now that we're getting to the nitty-gritty, multiple sclerosis affects person's ability to live a healthy and normal lifestyle. Now, what multiple sclerosis does is it affects the myelin sheath to the point where there is no myelin sheath on the axon. The reason why this affects it is because the sheath that's around the axon makes it go much, much faster. Now, if an axon doesn't have a sheath around it, then the signal will pass much slower. I guess you could think of it as walking up the stairs as opposed to walking up an escalator. Now, obviously, you're going to be going very, very fast when you walk up the escalator. Now, if you walk up a regular flight of stairs, you're just doing all that work. And this doesn't only come down to the sheath, but also the thickness of the fibers. A very big fiber would make the signal go very, very fast. A thin fiber, however, would make it go slow. So slow! Now, a normal person without multiple sclerosis has the myelin sheath around the axon. That being said, the signals go pretty fast. And a person that suffers from MS, the signals don't go that fast, and it greatly impairs their motor functions. A perfect comparison with toilets and a myelinated axon would be a toilet found on an airplane. Those things almost sucked me into the cargo area of the airplane, if that's even possible. An unmyelinated axon would be comparable to the toilet you guys saw earlier. It was much slower. Now, do you see why it would affect somebody greatly? I mean, we're talking about the myelin sheath, the most important part